Good morning and welcome to the VSA Morning Miner. I'm Ollie O'Donnell and I'm joined by Paul Rankin. Paul, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, all good. It's looks like the warm, sunny weather has passed just in time for the VSA IPO, which starts trading today on Aquis.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah. Let's get into the mining news, though. News out from American Lithium. They've added to their acreage with some new claims to the north of their existing tenements in Nevada. Any thoughts there, Paul?
Yes, they're actually buying a parcel of ground which immediately adjoins on the north side, about 3,900 additional acres, which would bring their total land holding there in the one parcel to 11,400 acres. They're going to pay 2.5 million shares in an all shares deal to a private party called Big Smoky Holdings on a project that company names that acreage as Crescent Dunes. So the American Lithium obviously is consolidating additional ground there, particularly along the stratigraphy that drilling already suggests moves into that acreage.
Yeah, and I mean, before their resource, which was pretty large, sort of, I think, 8 million tons of contained lithium carbonate, was only constrained by the license boundary to the north. So these are contiguous claims. They directly extend that. And what sort of further de-risked this acquisition is that the owners, or the vendors rather, have already done some work, surface sampling, showing lithium grades above 2,000 ppm Li. So American Lithium have got a pretty good idea that this continues in a substantial, meaningful way into these claims. So they should get a decent extension to their resource, but also the fact that those are relatively higher grades than elsewhere in the project. What they're going to do with their upcoming drilling campaigns over the next year or so is try and identify some of the higher grade zones within the resource so you can high grade the mine plan and improve the economics.
Yes, and they were able to do the transaction on an all shares basis too, so it doesn't mean any cash out of the coffers.
No, and not very much dilution either, given how strongly the share price has moved up over the last few weeks, 60% since our note in June. Obviously, lithium is going well, but they do have a uranium project as well in Peru, and they did the previous owners did a PEA, which is now a few years out of date, but the metrics that were on that look pretty attractive when you compare it to the rest of the peer group. The incentive price on that is around $45 a pound. And I think you generally need 60 for most of the peer group to make a development project work. And now the uranium price is starting to move higher, and that's reignited interest in that sector after 6-7 months of consolidation in the uranium equity space.
Yes, and we're seeing more life now too, with companies starting to announce that they're either putting budgets into uranium projects or thinking of, if they're already holding some uranium in portfolio, of doing spin outs for separate funded companies.
Any other news?
We do. Condor Gold, the AIM-quoted firm developing the La India gold project in Nicaragua, they put out essentially feasibility level numbers here on a tech report on the latest updated resources and reserves and the economics on current pricing scenarios for the La India project. Numbers by SRK Consulting, which include both a open pit and underground component, as well as the startup phase, which is only open pit, essentially starter pit style development numbers. But the numbers look quite good here with the CapEx estimates on the project here around $150 million US for 120,000 ounces of gold production a year in the first 6 years of production. That gives an IRR there of 48% post-tax and an all-in sustaining cost of $813 per ounce on that startup scenario. And so initial mine life would be in the 9 years range, and I can say from the exploration information that I've seen and drilling information and statements by the company, there's an awful lot of upside for quite a bit longer mine life here if there's just enough drilling. So looking very good here at this point.
Excellent. Anything else, Paul?
Just to say that TSX listed Lucara Diamonds, their board made the final decision today to give consent for the $220 million US underground development program underneath the existing Karowe mine as a underground operation. So that will get underway right away. Oh, excuse me. It was 220 million in the financing debt portion, but the total capital cost, including funds that they'll use from cash flows of the mine operating now, 534 million is the number. So it's good to see that there's actually some good mine investment going on in the diamond space as well.
Great. Well, that's been a good top pick from you this year, Paul. Thanks for your thoughts this morning. We'll speak to you again soon. Cheers.
Very good. Thanks.
All right.